Looking elsewhere now, torrential rains and floods have left a trail of destruction in South Asia. More than 100 people are dead and millions have been displaced from their homes. The Indian states of Assam and Bihar have been among the worst hit. Some 4.3 million people have been displaced. Roads and railway lines in Bihar have been submerged, with locals wading through chest-high waters. The military has been deployed for rescue efforts. In neighbouring Nepal, 64 people have been killed and 31 are still missing. Most of the deaths were caused by landslides which swept away homes. Over in Bangladesh, floods have forced close to 200,000 people out of their homes. Overcrowded Rohingya refugee camps, they were not spared either. Now, for the latest, Neha Punya joins us live from New Delhi. Neha, this monsoon season is not unexpected, but yet, it seems that South Asian countries don't seem prepared for it. Why is that the case?
You're right, Glenda. We see these headlines coming out of these three countries almost every year. The monsoon season begins in June and ends in September for the Indian subcontinent, and Nepal, India and Bangladesh usually bear the brunt of this deluge most of the time. In 2018, you saw 1,200 deaths in this region. The year before, you saw 800. And that's led many to ask, why aren't these countries taking enough steps to try and mitigate the loss to life? And I can tell you about India specifically. In Bihar and Assam, we've seen flood mitigation plans come into place. After last year's deluge in Assam, the government approved $100 million for a flood mitigation plan, but all of their efforts are essentially focused only on building embankments, which experts say is not good enough. There's also the problem of human intervention. In most of these areas where flooding has happened, you've not just got rivers breaching their banks, but also uncontrolled urbanization, construction taking place on riverbeds, land grabbing by construction companies, and a drought in some years has also made it difficult for the soil to absorb water, and not to add the problem of deforestation that most cities in the world are seeing today. So all of these things have made a bad situation worse. And as far as this time is concerned, you've also got the other problem of excessive rainfall. For example, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Assam have received 40% of all the rain they would have received from June to September in the last 10 days. So that's made dealing with this deluge even more difficult.
Neha, so how do the authorities intend to rehabilitate the millions displaced then?
It's going to be a very tough task. You've got 6.5 million people only in India that have been displaced in the last 10 days. Most of them have not only lost their homes, but also in many cases in rural India, they've lost their livelihood sources as well. For now, you've got at least 500 relief centers that have been set up. The government says it's handing out all kinds of basic necessities like food, water, medical aid to those who've been displaced. And the idea now is, Glenda, to ensure that they have all of these basic amenities, that they're evacuated from these flooded areas to drier land, because it's going to rain in the coming days as well. So the next 4 to 5 days are going to be crucial. And once the water recedes in most of these areas, there's also a risk of waterborne diseases. So the government is going to have to factor all of this in. Right now, of course, it says its entire priorities on rescue operations. Rehabilitation will come later, but there will be, we're given to understand, some sort of state support given to all of these people.
Neha Punya reporting live from New Delhi.